The Chicago Cubs drop the series finale, but that's just baseball sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about the game briefly. We're going to give you some injury updates on some key returning pieces. And then, as you know, it is Friday, so we're going to get to some of your comments from the video. So let's just get into the spiel. Hi, everybody. My name is Steven Ryan, and welcome to today's edition of Cubs Daily, presented by FanArch. Today's sponsor is Kalshi. Use code FanArchBaseball to get $10 when you trade your first $10 with Kalshi. So, not much to really say about this game. Cade Cavalli was unbelievable for the Nationals. I mean, he really pitched as well. I mean, he was perfect through 6. He was kind of no-hit into the 7th, et cetera, et cetera. And then, Michael Busch bleeded one for our lone hit of the game. And again, this is just going to happen. This is what happens over the course of 162. When you go and look at box scores from previous seasons, like there's just going to be days where you don't have it. And that's okay. That's going to happen. Projected in this matchup, this was the Nationals' best chance to win. They were throwing their best pitcher at the Cubs, and honestly, that kind of just worked out. And one of the things I was noticing was Kevin Gausman was really sharp, right? Really sharp through the first 3 innings. Then he did give up the run, but in that 5th inning, where it kind of got out of hand, there was a moment of belief in me when I was watching it that somehow, some way, the Cubs were going to get out of that inning unscathed. Now, that did not happen. I understand that did not happen, but it's a good sign for me personally as a fan of this team when I have a good feeling that they might just find a way to get out of that jam. Because in a normal situation, you should not get out of that jam. If it's 1st and 3rd with nobody out, that should score at least 1 run every single time. And obviously it did. It poured into more when he couldn't get that one out. He gave up the 3-run homer, and it was kind of all over from after that. But I thought that was kind of like a positive moment in my day. It was like, okay, hey, if he can keep it to 1 here, this offense can kind of figure it out. But the offense had 0 chance today, just 1 hit. Just wasn't really sharp at all. Kind of felt like they were, over it. And again, it just got done scoring, 12 runs, 9 runs, 8 runs, 10 runs the day before. So not that like it's a choice. I understand it's not a choice, but just some days the ball is not going to fall your way. And that's just what happened today. So we move on to the next one, ladies and gentlemen. We start a series with St. Louis at home starting today, ironically on Apple TV, unfortunately. But let's talk about some good news coming up the pipeline for this Chicago Cubs team. Let's talk about Edward Cabrera. So the plan for him from Craig Counsell was he wanted to see him have 3 starts in the minor league before they would bring him back up. Tuesday night, he just finished that 3rd start. They sent him down to Double-A because the Triple-A team was in the Field of Dreams game for the minor leagues. And he went no hits, 5 innings, 7 Ks, and was just absolutely brilliant. Right? We can even take a look right here. I mean, this was just a beautiful piece of work, right? 5 innings of no hits, 7 Ks, 1 walk. And again, it's the minor leagues. I'm not trying to say it's the end-all, be-all, because I don't think that's the case, but you do want to see him with some positive momentum. He is a swing-and-miss type of guy. You want to see those 7 strikeouts, that 1 walk. Hopefully, he can kind of bring that back to the major leagues. In his last start, he was really, really good, too. So, those are some of the positive things you like to see. Now, as for the use of Edward Cabrera on this team kind of going forward, it's going to be really hard to just kind of slide him into the rotation. Like, plain and simple. Could he be in the rotation at some point? Absolutely. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I definitely know for sure, like in my head, like next year, he will be. And again, I'm not connected with the team. Okay? I don't go to Wrigley every day and ask bombarding questions. What do? I listen to all sorts of Cubs information that I can take in, try my best to decipher what it is what I think it is, and then kind of just bring it back to you guys, okay? So what I'm kind of seeing here from all the things I'm reading is that the plan for Edward Cabrera is to kind of bring him back as a reliever, which, again, the potential for him in that situation for this rendition of the Cubs, the 2026 version, could be mightily impactful. Like a really good swing and miss guy, a guy who could maybe give you an inning, maybe give you 2 innings if needed, or, as we've discussed here in the comment sections before, right, a guy who can piggyback, right? Like, what if, the Kevin Gausman situation arrives in the postseason game, and he's kind of just getting hit around, but it's still only 1-0. Bring in Edward Cabrera to bridge you to that 6th inning. Maybe something like that could really work out well for this team. But it's good to see Edward Cabrera finally starting to get his swing and miss stuff in the minors. Take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully he can come back and he can contribute to this team in the way that we intended him to when we traded for him at the beginning of the year. I'll say at the beginning of the year because it was not the beginning of the offseason. So before we talk about Daniel Palencia and we get to your comments, let's talk about today's sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Kalshi. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so close. September, it's actually more like 18 days away, but the postseason chase is on now, and this is the time to hop on Kalshi. If you have an inkling, right? The Cubs just lost today. They're back at home against St. Louis, a pivotal series against the Cardinals, especially as the Brewers are playing the Dodgers, and you have an inkling, you think you know what the Cubs are going to do, go on over to Kalshi, download that Kalshi app, type in Fan Arch Baseball for your code, and then hop on into the action. Because if you are to trade $100 right now with the Cubs, they are trending at 61%, meaning you could take your 100 and make roughly 150 or so. They are heavily supposed to win that game, I'd say, tomorrow. But the best thing about Kalshi, ladies and gentlemen, is that it is a peer-to-peer live marketplace. No house. So if you like your position, Cubs go up big, and you're like, you know what, I don't even want to risk it. Just take your money and get up out of there. Again, ladies and gentlemen, download the Kalshi app and use code FanArchBaseball to get $10 when you trade $10. Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on everything. All right, so a little bit more. Actually, this title right here is not completely accurate, I'll say that much. Okay, so in his previous few rehab outings, Palencia has struggled. Okay, Palencia has not looked like the guy we want him to become, right? I think all of us as Cubs fans love Palencia's game. We do think he has that difference-making fastball, and he can really, really have a strong impact on this team going down the road, right? So in his last game a couple days ago, he only went 2/3 of an inning. He did not give up a hit, but he gave up 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 1 hit by pitch, and only struck out 1. So, and then the outing before wasn't that good either. So, just not what you like to see. But reading this as I read to you guys, we did get an update. He had another rehab outing, 1 inning, clean work, 10 pitches. He didn't strike anyone out, which is something you do want to see, but no hits, no earned runs, and 0 walks. So again, it's a day-by-day process with these guys. It's hard to dive into those results and think about things, again, because it's the minor leagues. It's not really the whole truth, but it does seem like Daniel Palencia is getting healthier. The only thing I think here, though, is he's going to have to absolutely battle for a spot on the postseason roster, because if he can't throw strikes consistently, then he can't have a place on this team. I'm sorry. There's just way too many arms that we have available to us, which I can't believe we're saying. And it doesn't seem that way, but we do. We're going to have a bevy of arms that are going to be available to the Cubs to deploy in the postseason. Obviously, we're hoping Steele can come back healthy. We're hoping Brown can come back healthy too. There's just a lot of different things going on. Cabrera coming back healthy as well. Even if we were to let go the likes of Savale, Savale's solid, man. If it's Savale and Palencia just can't figure it out, I'm gonna have to take Savale for this season, since apparently words can be misconstrued. For this season, for this moment is what I'm talking about. Obviously, I do think if Daniel Palencia gets healthy, he has a whole season or a whole off season to kind of ramp back up, maybe even a little extra time with some other things going on. I think Daniel Palencia is going to be fine, but he has not had one whole healthy season to get right and get into the rhythm that I think the Cubs need him to be in for him to be the closer that we want him to be. So, you guys know it is Friday, and every Friday we go over your comments, ladies and gentlemen, okay? If you feel like you need to drop a comment on the show, please do so. Feel free to ask any questions. Steven, what do you think? Or pose your idea. What do you think of doing this? I'm all for it. Please share your thoughts down below. If you're enjoying the content, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So I usually take 3 comments a week. Let's start with number 1. And it's from my main man. It's my homeboy. It's my favorite, Mr. Winmore. Winnie, I'm going to keep it easy on you. Steve, Hartshorn is their number 1 prospect according to who? You? I'm pretty sure Conrad is ranked higher even though he's injured and hasn't been performing well before getting hurt. Well, Winnie, here's the deal. There are a lot of different listings out there. I'm sure on some listings, Ethan Conrad might be number 1. I'm sure of it. But for me personally, the list that I use is from a little, it's a little mom and pop website, okay? I like to call it MajorLeagueBaseball.com/Cubs. Top 30 prospects. Look who's number 1. All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your comment, though. I do appreciate it. Ethan Conrad is batting 3rd. And then as a fun update on Ethan Conrad before we get into the next one, because you know what? You're probably right. He was number 1 at a point. Let's take a look here. I just saw it. Someone just gave me a little thing here. Ethan Conrad absolutely rocked another ball here about an hour ago. He seems to be hitting a lot better as well. So hopefully Ethan Conrad, because if Ethan Conrad and Josiah Hartshorn, if one of those 2 guys can pan out for this Cubs team in the future, big-time things can come ahead. Big-time things can come ahead. So let's hop into that next comment. We got our main man, Adam. We appreciate you. He was responding to something I said. He said, I think it's more likely he pitches this year more than Ben Brown, just because Steele has had, 14 to 16 months to rehabilitate and recover. And again, he's been throwing for a month now. He just in the last week got on the rubber to throw, but Brown has something fundamentally happening in his delivery that is making it nerve, something along those lines. So they got to change his delivery mechanics a bit to be efficient and keep from being hurt. So I don't think them bringing him back this year is even possible. It wouldn't be worth it long term, and that's not what the Cubs do. Well, Adam, just as a little heads up to you, Ben Brown is throwing off the mound. Now, he's not in any live situational game simulation type deal. He is on the mound though. He is kind of getting his feeling back. In coherence to Steele and Brown, I honestly don't see either of them on the postseason roster. I just don't think they're going to have enough time to truly ramp up. And then you take these guys who just kind of came back freshly injured and put them in strenuous, high-strain innings in that postseason environment. Not that they wouldn't do it for the team or anything like that. But again, like you said at the bottom of your comment, the Cubs do want to value the long-term health of their organization. And, given where, the CBA is and all that, they might just pitch. But again, it's all about if Steele comes back and, he's feeling good and he's ready to play and how he pitches, right? And if Ben Brown comes back, it's about how you're pitching. If you're pitching well, guess what? You're going to play on this team. Plain and simple. But either way, you're not wrong. Steele has had a lot of ups and downs in his rehabilitation too, so kind of quirky on him. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be with him coming up here in the near future. So the last comment of the day is going to go to our main man, Billy O'Connor. I don't understand the loyalty to Hap. The guy is rally killer, automatic out, swings like a maniac, strike. He's been bad for at least 4 years now. He needs to sit on the bench and be the mascot, like Justin Turner did last year. The Dodgers didn't even put Pages on the playoff roster or World Series roster last year, and he's obviously a much, much, much better than Ian, that word. So why is it so hard to be truthful and say you ain't cutting it? You're sitting on the bench because other than that, the Cubs are rolling. But he'll kill any rally they got going. Just because you have tenure and you're the longest Cub on the team doesn't mean you deserve to play. So that is a loaded statement. That is a loaded statement, Billy. And it's not 100% accurate on your part, but it's also not 100% false either. You have some truths in there, And I understand your frustrations and generally all Cubs fans' frustrations. I get frustrated with Ian Happ too. I really, really do, guys. Trust me, I have witnesses. You guys can come visit me at my day job on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. at ultimateautographs.com. Please feel free to come do it because you know what? There's a guy right there who will say, Steven, no way that's true. But again, the part of the problem here, Billy, is he's a fine player. I'm not saying good. I'm not saying bad either. I'm not saying he's a great player. I'm not saying he's a bad player. But like these numbers, like he's okay. He is okay. And I don't want the Cubs to overpay him, if you know what I'm saying, right? Like, when you guys have a job, right? And every single year you kind of anticipate maybe a little bit of a raise, right? I don't know if he thinks he's getting a raise because I don't think he should get a raise. You know what I'm saying? But again, Gold Glove defense every single year. Pretty much the last, this year they haven't announced it, but the last 4 seasons he's been a Gold Glover in left field. He has brought consistent levels of defense. His career OPS is 785. That's really, really solid, especially when league average is around 690 something. He's going to hit 20 home runs, and yeah, he's going to frustrate the living hell out of us. That's just who he is, unfortunately, Billy. But here's the deal. I don't think they're doing that with him. I don't think they're giving him the ring of, whatever. They want him to play because, again, as cold as he gets, he can get hot too. And he was just hot moments ago, like these past few games. These past few games, he's been on absolute fire. But again, that's how it goes with Ian Happ, right? When you look at the back of the baseball card, all the numbers, it feels like he doesn't hit that. But he does. He reaches those numbers every year. He's already at 20 home runs. He might get to 25 by the time this season's ending. And you know what? The Cubs might not re-sign him, but he will go somewhere else, and someone will pay him because he brings a Gold Glove. He has a little pop in his bat. And you know what? Like, he's not a problem in the clubhouse. He's a good teammate, a good guy. And you don't, and honestly, Billy, you don't cut someone like that. And they're not cutting him because of tenure. They don't, because he is a vibes guy. He is a guy that is a part of this clubhouse culture. He might not be next year. I'm telling you that right now. I don't think the Cubs are going to re-sign him, but they're not going to just throw away this last 6-week stretch to sit him down in the Justin Turner role. Ian Happ, by the way, is not near the Justin Turner role. I just want to make that perfectly clear. Again, your frustrations are warranted. Do not get me wrong, but he is far away from being the Justin Turner role. He should probably commit to more just batting left-handed, but Ian Happ, he's fine. He's not great. He's not bad, though. He's just fine. But when you watch this team every day, which it sounds like, Billy, you do, I see those frustrations you're venting to me about in the comment section. I hear you. And again, I just don't think the Cubs are going to re-sign him. And if they do re-sign him, it's going to be, I hope, to a lesser AAV deal, because I do not think he deserves $20 million a year. If he wants to come back for $14 million a year, we can talk. But again, that is a lot different of a conversation. So that will do it for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you cannot check me out on YouTube, guys, make sure you guys check me out on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Just go in there and search Cubs Daily. We'll be uploading this episode there as well. Let's have ourselves a great weekend. Go Cubs, go Dodgers. Let's catch the Brewers, and I'll see you in the next one.